What's good, YouTube? Jon Lowery here, finally playing in his second YCS, and what do you just do?
I made top 16, playing Ty's Majespecters.
Alright, let's go ahead and get into it.
Hey, House of Champions, I'm playing one Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer. It's just a good card in general. If you open with it, it's a +1 every time. Helps you set up your truly unbreakable boards that people can't deal with, and just sets you up for the long game in general. For my Majespecter lineup, I play 3 Bambuku, 3 Toad, 3 Cat, 3 Fox, and 3 Crow. That's it. I don't play Kieran. I can't pendulum summon ever. I could only ever tribute summon for it, so I didn't feel that it was ideal. Although I would have liked it in the mirror match. That would have been very, very helpful there, just because it's a very hard monster to be beaten.
Yeah, put it in defense.
Yeah, you put it in defense. They can't beat it. In fact, that was one of the main things I did all weekend, was just put the cat in defense and wait until I could break their boards and get stuff set up. I mean, it has 2100 defense with the field spell and can't be targeted, and there's not a lot of stuff that can really deal with that. I mean, it stays through Honor Arc, it stays through everything. Not much can run over it. That's it for the monster lineup. I didn't play Arch Phoenix Centric or anything like that. I didn't really feel it was necessary. It doesn't out anti-spell if you need it to. It doesn't out a lot of different things. And if I'm not playing Kieran, I don't need the 7 scales. For my spells, I was playing the Premier card, 3 Ties of the Brethren. It's a super strong card in this deck. I mean, you play it, you get a +3 every time. When it resolves, you just bring out the other 2 Majespecters. It lets you set up a lot of plays, and it gives you a way to really set up your boards without Bambuku and set you up for the long game. I played 2 Pot of Desires. I wanted to play 3 just because I want to see it every game. However, I don't ever want to see 2 in theory, is the way from my playtesting with the deck. If you play 2, you are not going to have any traps or spells to search for. And so once you play that second one, the game's for the most part over. You just lost it yourself. And so I just only wanted the 2 in the deck to begin with.
Yeah, I think the only time you want to see the second is if like you desperately need another scale to revamp.
If you're in a top decking situation, then the second one's bad, and if I'm there, I'm already losing. Yeah. And I'm not going to be playing to that aspect. For my field spells, which most pendulum decks play now, I played 2 Majesty's Pegasus and 1 Secret Village, along with 2 Terraforming. The third Terraforming was something I heavily debated before the event, just to see it more often, see Majesty's Pegasus. It's the best card in the deck for the most part. It speeds everything up. If you don't have this, you're a much slower deck, a much weaker deck. And then the one of Secret Village, I mean, I'm playing all spellcasters so I can support it, and it just wins games. When we were my top 32 round, game 1, I activated it, he summoned Tour Guide, I negated it, and he had all spells in hand and couldn't go from there. So yeah, this just wins you a ton of games. I probably won 4 or 5 game 1s throughout the weekend just on the back of this card and nothing else. The game ended in 2 turns because of this.
Very similar kind of to Domain, last format.
Very similar to Domain. And then for the searchable Majespecter spells, I played 2. I played 1 Majespecter Sonics and 1 Majespecter Storm over Majespecter Cyclone. The Cyclone probably would have been a better card after playing throughout the weekend. The Storm did have several highlights, being able to shuffle away Beatrice and stuff like that without triggering the destruction effect. Shuffle away Slip Rider, things of that nature, any Cosmo monsters, anything that has graveyard effects. Sonics is a great card, and I did like it in the main. I do kind of want more of them. It's just great in the mirror match in general. If they play Sonics and you don't, you're not going to win the mirror match.
Did you ever get to say okay damage step?
I said okay damage step many times throughout this weekend. I blew many people out. They had no clue it was coming. I came back many games against Blue Eyes. You can pendulum Crow in defense, and if you have Sonics, they can't kill it. And so that's a way for you to just live through the turn unless they want to spend all their level 8s making like Dark Matter or something like that, as opposed to Blue Eye Spirit. And if they do that, you're probably going to win anyway. The Spirit is what hurts this deck a lot. And that's it for my spells. I play 16 monsters, 12 spells, and 12 traps, exactly at 40 cards. For my traps, I play 3 of both searchable traps by the Majespecters. These are the cards that I want to see. I do want to have 3 in case any of my copies do get banished off of Desires. That way I can still continue to plus for as long as possible.
There's probably a lot of games where you end up using all 3 Tempests too.
There's so many games where I go through not only 3 Tempest, 3 Tornado, the Sonics, and the Storm. I go through every spell in every searchable spell or trap in the deck. The deck grinds very well. You just kind of have to know what to negate, when to negate it, what to banish, what your actual problem cards are. I beat Blue Eyes 1 round by making Totem Bird, and when they tried to Twin Twister my scales, I didn't negate it because that wasn't how I was going to lose the game. The only out they had to beat me was Soul Charge, and I knew that there's no reason to negate anything but that. I played 3 Pendulum Reborn. I feel like this was a great card this weekend. Specials from the Pendulum, your extra deck, public extra deck, or from your graveyard, and it doesn't target. You get to choose at resolution what you're bringing back, so that helps out a ton, and you can set up really good plays. You can bring back the frog on your turn, on their turn, set tornado, start your turn, sacrifice the frog to tornado, and then immediately pendulum it back and do it again.
I really like the thought process of playing near their turn.
Yeah, it's really helpful to be able to play there. Also, if you have Pendulum Reborn, a lot of times the way Majespecters loses, you'll have 3 or 4 monsters. They'll run them all over in battle, and then they'll go do their plays. You can let them run them all over in battle, take that last hit, and then Pendulum Reborn back your monster, and now your Tempest is still alive for anything main phase 2. And that was definitely a game-winning play throughout the weekend. And then my last 3 traps are Warning and 2 Strikes. I would have kind of liked the 3rd strike. It's better than Tempest most of the time. However, it being better than Tempest doesn't make up for Tempest being searchable. The lack of tributing a wind spellcaster is huge on strike, but being searchable and going late game definitely outweighs it.
And life points, since you do play into time a bit.
Yeah, I do play into time, and strike you pay life, ties you play life, some of the cards aside you pay life for, and yeah, that's it for the main deck. Now I'll get into the extra on the side. For the side deck, or for the extra, the side deck, I played 3 Cosmic Cyclones for any kind of pendulum decks. If I played against mirror match metal foes, anything like that, this card's very strong. This card's good again. This card's just better than MST now for the most part. There are times obviously where it's not. In fact, my only draw this weekend that I had, if this had been a Mystical Space Typhoon instead, I would have won because he had paid 1,000 for Skill Drain and I paid 1,000 for Cosmic Cyclone, and that's why the game ended up being a draw. I sided 2 Typhoons. This is just a good card in against Pendulum. It helps you out anti-spell, it helps you out all of your problem cards. This deck can definitely play through anti-spell better than most Pendulum decks can. However, that certainly doesn't mean that you want to by any stretch of the imagination. I played 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Again, just kind of for metal foes. A lot of my side deck choices were more to prepare for a broad meta, because if you go in and look, I mean, there's been 20 or 25 different decks that have been topping regionals, been topping events, and I wanted answers that were broad, that could go deep and cover, go deep, go wide, cover multiple things. I played 3 Sticky String Kaiju over Gamma Seal, like a lot of players are doing now, primarily because this one can't be exceeded with in Blue Eyes. Gamma Steel's level 8, this is level 7, helps out a lot there. I wasn't a huge fan of those this weekend, as you drop it and then you still typically have to spend a card getting over it because it's bigger than your entire deck. And so that's one thing that I would definitely try and move away from in the future. I sided 2 Maxis, those were great. I would have liked them in the main if I had more room for them. I sided them in pretty frequently. It does good. It's good against BA, it's good against Blue Eyes, it's good against a bunch of different decks. It's great against Minerva, which is for some reason seeming to be a lot more popular than it has been, even though it needs a prize card. But the last 3 cards were Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. I like that over Ally Justice Quarantine, which is the popular one people do simply because it can't be kaiju'd unless they're playing the Wind Kaiju, which most people choose not to. I really only sided that for Blue Eyes, and every game that I had it was effective except for one where he just summoned Sage, got Catsif, and popped it right away. But all in all, I was pretty happy with the side. The only thing that I would really want to change would be the Kaijus. Probably find somebody else for those, something else for that.
Any notable rounds that you want to talk about real quick?
I didn't have a ton of stuff that was too crazy. I did win 4 or 5 games straight on the back of Secret Village Game 1. Those were all very strong. I won multiple games with my extra deck, going in pretty big with Trapeze and Acid Golem. That's 85 damage that can appear out of nowhere when you pendulum 2 level 4s and 2 level 3s. I played against, probably my coolest win this weekend was against Minerva Turbo. He, turn 1, paid 5,000 life with Soul Charge, Instant Fusion, and Trick Clown. And whenever he passed turn, he had double Omega Minerva, he had good things going. And I ended up Majespecter storming his Minerva away, and he paid 1,000 to bring it back with Trick Clown, going down to 2,000. And then I overlaid a cat and a Bambuku for a Nightmare Shark and just gave it him. That was one of the best wins of the weekend for sure.
That's why I played Heartland Draco too, to have access to 4s.
I regretted not having Heartland Draco in here this weekend. One of my friends before coming told me I should have put it in there. Michael Temez, he's been on the channel before. But yeah, I definitely should have been in the deck this weekend.
And any shout-outs?
No shout-outs really. Shout out to Strike Zone. I work there. Always buying. Go check it out. Drop off some cards. I came with my team from Houston, Team In Phase. We have a bunch of nice players on there that have been there for a while. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you very much.
No, thank you,
Jon
John.
Lowery, ladies and gentlemen.
Appreciate it.